Previously on X-Men 87. Leave me alone, I just want to cuddle with my Sentinel. What up everyone, it's your boy X-Man 87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Hasbro post-exclusive Haslab Marvel Legends X-Men House of X Sentinel action figure review. Before I get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's go! Taking a close look at the default head right out the box, I'm still in awe with this figure. From top to bottom, he's just absolutely phenomenal. I really like the sharp angles here we're getting on the faceplate, so that looks really cool. The grill, as you can see, looks nice. It looks like it has that carbon fiber material kind of texture inside, and you see the wirings on the jawline, so that came out really neat. Like the jawline here, for some reason these kind of look like teeth to me, but it's not, it's just part of the design. And then you got his like kind of squarish crown going around his head with all this fine line work we're seeing here, and that continues on the top of the head as well. So this looks absolutely amazing. Just the sculpt here is top notch. The torso looks very broad, very beefy, as it should look on a Sentinel, and you're gonna see all these beautiful intricate linings throughout. You know, the sculpting details on this are just superb. As we take a look at the back, you see a lot of this nice fine line work. You get some bolts in there. You get some different decals too for the paint. So you get this nice beautiful purple paint, but as well throughout you'll see some of these parts, like right here, they have this kind of shimmery effect, and it looks gorgeous, man. I really like it. Same as with the shoulder pads right here. You see it's like shimmering around it, and then it's just, you know, regular tone color here, but it still has that kind of metallic pop to it. It just looks so freaking good. And the shoulder pads has that War Machine kind of effect where it has this rim around the shoulder socket, so it does stay in place, and when you move it up, the shoulder pad moves along with the arm, so no hindering there. That's what I love. One thing I want to point out here is that I thought this had butterfly joints, because if you see this middle rim right here, it really fooled me. I thought it was a butterfly joint that I could just move forward and move back. I think they could have done it. I think the electric wiring works inside wouldn't interfere with a butterfly joint. I've seen 6-inch import Iron Man figures with light up functions that small, so they could have definitely pulled that off for a figure this big. I think that would have been really cool to see for more posability. Going back to the back, you got this backpack piece that kind of pops out, so you just want to pop this out. But you get the batteries in here, you just unscrew it, and it's 2 AAA batteries that it requires. So to go over the light up features, you get this big button right here, you can't miss it, on his chest, and you press on it, and it starts with this kind of whitish pinkish color, and then it turns into orange. So you'll get that on the power core of the chest and the eyes. Press it again and it's gonna fade into another color, and we get the green color. This is really cool. I like that it looks like the Sentinels Online. Press it again and you're gonna have like the red alert. It's a threat, danger, so you'll get this flickering effect like if he's powering down or about to self-destruct. So I really like the flicker effects there. One thing I will say for the light function, if you try to turn his head, you see one eye just goes off. Well, that's because the way they did it, it has only this section open for a light to go through. And I think it would have been better if they didn't have this blocking, because especially when it comes to the Sentinel Head, which I'll show off later, it could have lit up all those eyes on the Sentinel Head. So yeah, it's just annoying that if you want to have his head light up with his head turn, you'll have to turn this neck joint and then pop it back on. That way when you press the button, you turn his head to the side, now it's lit up and you don't have that one eye just shut. So kind of annoying, but at least it's not completely blocked. There's also one last light up feature where he has 2 additional colors. So if you do hold it beyond 3 seconds, you're going to get 3 colors. One that fades into red, which we've already seen before. The second one is purple, and then the third one is blue. The lower torso looks great. Again, you get these circuitry and conduits running through, and the wiring has some different colors, so that makes it pop. I like that. And these arms are long and massive. This is top of the line sculpting. Definitely Hasbro's best right here. And the paint is as every bit as advertised when they first showed it off. None of that funky plastic swirling you see. No, none of that is existent here. You know, it is absolutely gorgeous. And I like how there's silver and gray parts to break up those armored bits and spread the color and make it pop out. So I really like that. The bicep here, there is very layered. I gotta say, this figure is just multi-layered. So you see these separate pieces on, they don't come off, thankfully, but you know, these are a separate piece. You got the tricep armor, bicep armor right there. You get more wiring in the arm right there, you know, on the shoulder. So that looks cool. I like these little metal mesh looking vents on his forearms. So this piece hinges up and down so it could go along with the hand articulation. And I love the hands here because they're individually articulated. And the coolest thing about it is that we finally have a Sentinel that can hold on to a full 6-inch Marvel Legends figure. So this is a 6-inch figure here. You can tell how big this is. So I'm just gonna use Psylocke here as my guinea pig. And if you want him holding on to a full 6-inch action figure, there you go. Look at that, man. That's freaking, you can't beat that. None of the Sentinels have been able to do that before. So features like this just amps up the fun factor. And I like the repulsor effect here we got in the middle of his hand. And I like how you can actually spread his fingers apart to make it look like, you know, he's blasting. Or give you a high five, whatever. As we look below his armored 6-pack, he's got this armored diaper going on. And, you know, you can switch it out whenever he's potty training. But I'm just kidding. It's scary that this guy's the size of a toddler. But the armored belt here came out really nice, really sleek. You get some of that nice sculpted wiring for the hips with some painted colors inside. So that's pretty cool. These thighs are massive too. He's got these pliable materials on his thighs to layer out the front, and it goes around to the back. The inner thighs are the hard plastic though, so I can see why they went with going pliable here, because if it was plastic, whew, this would have weighed a lot more. And this guy's already like 9.5 pounds as is. And as we get down to the infamous knees here, you can tell that there are still more added details on here, like these caps, these like metal looking mesh vents that are there. It looks very nice, and I like how the design keeps it consistent throughout. You get like these pink, gray, and purple arrows. Then we get these big purple massive boots. I mean, look at these stompers, man. These are serious. The design overall is absolutely gorgeous, and on the bottom of his feet, more sculpted line work. You get the thrusters. That looks freaking amazing. I love that attention to detail. For tiers and accessories, he comes with a battle damage head and hand, and the self-destruct light up sequence looks best with this head. Look at that. That looks freaking awesome. I like how his hand looks like Beast chewed off his fingers. Really love the way the battle damage head came out. I think we all want this in a Sentinel, right? So we can have it as a display piece, maybe in the background. Serves as a nice diorama. You got these 2 large dents right here on his cheek. And this shot eye, you get some Wolverine slash marks right there, so that looks really nice. And the helmet is just torn apart. I like the cracks right there on the crown. And then right here, the wiring inside and dented metal you see sticking out. That looks so freaking good. Even the grill right here is dented. I like that, man. And the wiring is hanging out right there. This is just so sweet. They even sculpted the wiring inside the heads. That is really cool. They didn't have to do that. Then we get the Sentinel head. That looks fantastic. I like the 3 power cores right there in his mouth. Nicely painted. This is one of the faces in gold. The other face in gold has just like the grill, looking like one of the normal Sentinels. And then you got the silver face right here with all the wiring inside the mouth, and that looks really cool. And what I mentioned earlier about I wish that the light up function was not covered in just this one spot. I just wish it was all around, so that when you do light up the head, it would light up all the faces. But instead, it's like you can only light up one, so no matter where you look, only one face is going to be lit up. I did find a way to make it look cool at least. So for instance, if I split these two in the middle right there, share the two faces. You can get at least 2 eyes to light up. I think that looks pretty cool. But yeah, it would have been cool if we had like a swappable torso and you could set up his 6 arms to fully complete the Tri-Sentinel look. That literally could have been a Haslab on its own. This head could serve as a mug for real, man. I could sip out of this thing. Then to round out all the heads, we have this Master Mold head right here. And let me tell you, this is the cream of the crop for me. This is my favorite head out of the bunch. And when you light him up, I mean, you can't beat that, man. Look how awesome he looks. Everything about this head sculpt is freaking perfect. It's definitely the heaviest head out of all the Sentinels. It makes the figure weigh a lot more. But look at all these beautiful, intricate details, man. That is just beautiful. All around, it's just... this head's a 10 out of 10. Then we get these 2 large tentacles, and they are over 16 inches long. It's crazy to think that one of these is taller than the 16-inch Sentinel. So that's insane. That is really insane. Then you could just plug it into one or both of his hands. And best of all, it is bendable, so if you want to manipulate it, and let's just get rogue here for some hentai tentacle action, you could display it however you like, and it does hold up fairly well. The ratchets on the wrist are strong enough to position however you like it to be, whether it's up or down. You don't get any of that wobbling motion, or at least on mine. Now for the last of the accessories, well, I can't believe I'm saying that with full 6-inch figures under that category. But we get the female Sentinel Prime here, and she came out looking really good. I like the metallic magenta we get going on there. I like the, you know, the headdress right there looks good. The eyes painted in pink. The lipstick looks good. Even the platinum blonde flowing hair. But unfortunately, the head is hindered with the articulation there because of that hair. But she does look down a good amount, you know, left to right. This upper torso is new with this armored apparatus she's got going on. I like the metallic magenta paint. That looks good. And you get like this mechanical neck with some nice sculpting details. So I like that a lot. For the rest of the body, they gave her the Psylocke body mold. I don't understand why they gave her open hands. They could have gave her fists like they did with the male Sentinel Primes. But, you know, if you got the Hellfire Club Jean Grey or maybe the Walgreens exclusive Emma Frost, you could put closed fists on her if they fit. And then, yeah, the rest, all black. Then we get the male Sentinel Prime looking really good. I like the two-tone paint we get in the eyes. Get the mechanical neck area like in the female, just more detailed. And you get some gold paint in there as well. You got that magenta apparatus looking good. The power core in the middle. This is a new torso. So you get these buckles right here are individually sculpted. The rest, he's on that Spider UK body in all black. Then we get a Bastion head, and this looks really sick. I like that mechanical jaw, and the goatee on top of it is just, it's funny. Kind of wish the goatee was articulated. Wouldn't that be funny? You know, if you could just twirl it around. I like the eye paint. I like the eye shadowing, especially with these wrinkled folds. Makes them look more menacing. He's got some cool flowing hair. Nice wash to the hair color. I do feel we got ripped off a little bit just because Bastion is supposed to have his own body. He should be his own figure. Because he's got mechanical parts going on in his limbs. So I did see Deviant Studios on Instagram. He's a great photographer. You should follow him, by the way. He used the Ultron from the 3-pack. He did a leg swap from the knees down and put him on this figure, and it looked absolutely incredible. I may go ahead and probably swap these arms and put them on here. Don't know how far I'm going to go with it, but I may just go all the way with it. And the best thing about this is that these are army builders within an army builder, and they look incredible alongside each other. Now, to cover articulation for the Sentinel, we're going to start with the default head, and unfortunately, you don't get much movement at all. That's pretty much all you get, and it does turn left and right. The ball joint at the top will make the battle damage head rotate a little bit easier, and remember, you got this bottom base at the neck that does swivel. So you can see for the battle damage head, it does move down more than the regular one because you got that broken jaw. It does look a little bit up too, and this broken bottom corner makes it easier for it to tilt. The Tri-Sentinel head doesn't really move up, but it does move a little bit downward, and it kind of has a pivot to it, and it looks really nice when you rotate it all around. Master Mold is the winner of the articulation, as he does move up further than the rest and move down further than the rest. He does have the best pivoting as well. It rocks around, and of course, side to side. His arms move that far up, pretty close to T-pose. And his arms move down, they rotate all around. And then you got the bicep swivel here. You got a double jointed elbow and the wrist swivel. And you got ratchets at the wrist hinge. Each finger is individually articulated. So, you know, you can move them how you want at the knuckles. This thumb has a hinge that moves up and down. And each finger also rotates. And you get a double diaphragm joint with this guy. So the upper torso and the lower torso at the waist, they do bend in. So look at the upper torso move, and then the lower torso moves as well. So you could get a really good forward crunch with this guy to make him look down. And then you move it back. As you can see, the upper torso stretch back and the lower torso. So you do get, you know, pretty decent back bending. I really like that exoskeletal look at the spine there. That looks really dope. The upper torso does swivel side to side. It has a pretty good pivot and it rocks around. The legs spread out that far, and as you can see, that's pretty crazy. He could get a full split. He's kicking my lights. I don't know if you hear it, but this right leg moves down. That's the unfortunate part. Whereas this one does hold up. So the ratchets are good on this, man. They should have made stronger ratchet on the hips. He does kick forward pretty high. His legs kick that far back. He's got a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and very soft ratchets, but no heel to the Haslab butt. For the knees, I did tighten them so they're not buckling on me. As you can see, I'm moving him around, spinning him around. You know, obviously, if I start moving him back, then, you know, he's so top heavy, he is gonna lean forward and back. But even as he's leaning forward like this, he still stays. After I tighten the knees, they're solid, man. They're not, you know, falling down. They're holding up pretty well. He's got these ankle supporters that hinge down and up to help, you know, support his weight. His ankles move only that far up, so they don't really move up. And it does move down, and the ankle pivot is, you know, kind of weak sauce. Now for some comparisons, starting off with size here, the Sentinel measures at 26.5 inches tall, and the Master Mold head makes him an inch taller at 27.5 inches tall. Here is our new Haslab Sentinel next to the Marvel Legends 16-inch Sentinel. Here is our Master Mold next to the 16-inch Sentinels. This will be your best display option for a Master Mold. I don't have the Toy Biz Sentinel bath to show for comparison as that one broke a while ago, but here is the Haslab Sentinel next to the Toy Biz Apocalypse bath. Here is the Sentinel next to some other House of X-Men. And if you want to see how he looks next to some of the Jim Lee 90s X-Men Blue and Gold Strike teams, then here it is. Here is a battle damaged Sentinel head next to some X-Men figures for scale. Here he is next to Hasbro's biggest baths, Stiltman and Fin Fang Foom. Finally, here is the Sentinel family all lined up with the Theta Sentinel, Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, Bastion, and the 2 Sentinel Primes. And now to wrap things up, my final rating is an 11 out of 10 beyond total awesomeness. It's difficult to articulate my emotions for this. Pictures and videos just don't do it justice, as this is something you have to experience firsthand. It's a spectacular piece of a beast. Lots of challenges presented itself when it came to shooting pics and filming, but definitely learned a lot, exploring several display options, and will continue to explore some more. I love this figure even with its flaws. This figure's immeasurable presence leaves me at awe the entire time. About that engineering flaw, we don't know what happened in the factory for the legs to come out the way they did. I swear I recall Dwight articulating the knees in one of those Haslab live streams and hearing the audio capture loud ratchet clicks. I played with this for a week long straight and pushing its limits from tightening the knees. It holds up fine for the most part, and it is a very top heavy figure, so it's bound to eventually lean forward or back no matter what. I have some large Transformers figures with hard ratchets but still topple over from being very top heavy. However, the videos out there for the knee fixes, leg dissections, etc. are a temporary fix but not permanent. The longevity, therefore, is questionable. For roughly $375 with taxes rounded out, there should be no excuse for this to happen. I can only speak for the 3 I own, which is fine at the moment, but if you tried the fixes or not and still having a bad experience, then you have every right to be pissed off. That I do understand. The set overall brings a lot to the table. This is Hasbro's best work as far as the level of sculpting and paint combination. The articulation is decent, yet limited in some areas, but that's understandable with a multi-layered figure like this that's big and bulky. The tiers raise the fun factor to an all-time high here. You're always going to find yourself going back and forth with each one of them. So for the $375 I paid for, getting the biggest Legends figure made at this time, 4 heads, LED lights, 2 bendable tentacles, an extra hand, and 2 figures, for me it's worth it, as that's what 3 fragile little imports will quickly cost me. Visually, this is the best looking Legends figure ever in my opinion until Galactus comes out. There is not one Legends figure this year that is visually better looking than this. None come close. This stands on a league of its own. As a hardcore X-Men fan, this is a dream project come true. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this Haslab Sentinel? What X-Men character or project would you like to see next for Haslab? Apocalypse? Onslaught's second form? Blackbird? Danger Room? Let it rain in the comments below. Let me know. We'll chat about it. That was my review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Link is in the description below. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the pics at the end of the video. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.